Your Excellency Governor General Sir Rodney Williams and Lady Williams, Honorable Prime Minister Gaston Brown, Honorable Premier of Montserrat Donaldson Romeo, Honorable colleague ministers, Your Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps and Consular representatives, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let none doubt it for a second. Today is an historic day in the annals of our history, in the annals of our country. In time, this day will come to be recognized as a defining moment in our nation's economic fortunes. For we welcome to our shores one of the largest, most luxurious cruise ships in the world, the anthem of the seas. This magnificent ship, which bestrides our harbor like the biblical city upon a hill, shining in full glory, bears 6,000 persons, about 7% of our resident population. The benefits that those passengers will bring to our economy are manifold and widespread. Every sector of our economy will benefit from them. Vendors, shopkeepers, taxi drivers, restaurants, beach bars, banks, and government. Each will be beneficiaries of the spending of the equivalent of an additional 7% of our population every time this ship sails onto our shores. Next year, because we are now able to accommodate cruise ships the size of the magnificent anthem of the seas, we will welcome over 800,000 passengers from approximately 423 calls by the cruise industry. On the current average spend of each cruise ship passenger, 2017 will see spending in our economy of the United States $60 million. That will be a record-breaking event that will touch every single man, woman, and child across our nation. And ladies and gentlemen, I have erred on the side of caution by opting for a low level of spending. So let there be no doubt that today is an historic day in the annals of our history. It is historic for another reason, and that is our small beloved country has shown that is equal to gigantic tasks. Normally, no small island would be capable of accommodating a quantum class vessel. The sheer size of the ship, it defies the very notion that it could slide into our port, allowing its passengers to literally walk into our town. Yet, as your own eyes can attest, we have accomplished it. Believe me, along the way, many doubted that we could achieve it. But here is living proof of the capacity of our country, of the skills of our workers, of the talent of our management, if we are determined in this country to climb to the mountaintop of achievement. The people of Antigua and Barbuda should be proud of themselves, proud of this day, proud that we have shown to the world that we may be small, but we can be powerful. With the help of Almighty God, we have climbed to the mountaintop, and now lies before us the promised land. It awaits only our unity as a people, our diligence as a workforce, and adherence to the vision that we can be the powerhouse to which we aspire. Today is indeed an historic day. For as Prime Minister Brown says, it marks 48 years of visionary commitment to the benefits of cruise tourism. For in 1968, a year before I was born, the great father of the nation, Sir Vere Cornwall Bird Sr., and the other 39ers, they foresaw the potential of the sea to deliver economic benefits to our island state. It was he who developed our commercial port to cater for cruise ships. He did so many years before many of our neighboring states, even larger islands. But 48 years later, ladies and gentlemen, another visionary leader in the name of Prime Minister Gaston A. Brown is building on those early beginnings. He deserves this country's commendation. He deserves every tribute that this country and its people can pay to him, for he's a great, dynamic, visionary leader. Prime Minister Brown has programmed to spend over $500 million EC dollars over the next 3 years to take both our cruise and cargo port facilities to a level of modern sophistication. Today is a day. Today is a day that the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party promised to the people of this nation. In our manifesto, social contract with the people of this country that elected the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party and Gaston Brown to lead our people out of misery and bondage to economic prosperity. Today, for in our manifesto for 2014 general election, we said that the then governing United Progressive Party, and I quote, has failed to exploit the growth opportunities in the cruise ship industry, end of quote. We recall that in 1989, it was another insightful Labour Party leader, Sir Lester Bryant Bird, who had envisioned and created Heritage Quay and the Pier, whose expansion we celebrate today. Sir Lester, our emeritus leader, Antigua and Barbuda salutes you. We thank you and we thank God that you are still here with us, and we know that he will preserve you for many more. But at that time, the Pier accommodated the largest cruise vessels of the time, and we remained a favorable destination in the industry, maintaining gains for our people. We pointed out in this social contract, and I quote again, in 2001, again in anticipation of the further expansion of larger vessels coming on stream, the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party dredged the harbour and built an additional pier at Neva Street, end of quote. But we emphasize that in terms of infrastructure for cruise ships, we were ahead of Jamaica, St. Thomas, St. Martin, St. Kitts, and Barbados in 2003. And we warned that these destinations have taken measures to improve their infrastructure to accommodate the larger class of vessels that have come into the trade during the UPP's tenure. We stated again in this document, and I quote, the UPP has failed to put the necessary infrastructure in place to remain competitive, and therefore surrendered Antigua's leadership in the cruise industry to other Caribbean neighbors. With that, our country lost jobs and revenue. But we pledged. What did Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party pledge? If you elected us, I refer you to page 20 of this manifesto, that immediately upon becoming the government of the day, the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party will make significant investment in the dredging of the St. John's Harbour to accommodate the larger class vessels. And I continue, the inner harbour will be dredged to a minimum of 35 feet. Additionally, the ABLP will look at implementing a comprehensive harbour development program, starting from the fisheries complex all the way down to Deepwater Harbour. This will create opportunities for additional shopping, cruise ships, luxury yachts, high-end outlets and high-end apartment residential areas, and a hotel, all of which will create more jobs, bring in more foreign exchange, and strengthen local businesses that will provide goods and services. I continue. Provisions will be made for adequate parking facilities and improved logistics to accommodate the efficient flow of traffic for commuters, taxis and buses. This will give taxi drivers more income and better arrangements for picking up and dropping off a larger number of passengers. This is what we pledged. Today you witness the master plan. We engaged and hired BEA architects immediately, and you saw the master plan. Today we stand on the new pier. Today, on this historic day, the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party has made good on its promise for all to see and for all to benefit. I recall that within 1 week of forming the government, Prime Minister Brown dispatched me to Miami to meet the FCCA and the respective cruise line operators and owners. He asked Minister Malvin Joseph, with his considerable experience as a former Minister of Tourism, to accompany me. And I led a delegation made up of Chairman Ron Hector, Mr. Neil Butler, Mr. Nathan Dundance, and we went into the offices of our CCL, Carnival Cruise. All of the cruise lines met with Michelle Page. She hugged me and welcomed me. She said to me that the last Minister of Tourism that she saw in her offices was the Honourable Malvin Joseph, and before that, Sir Rodney Williams, another distinguished Minister of Tourism. And she asked to give her kind personal regards to Sir Rodney Williams. And she has asked me to please apologize for her absence today, Prime Minister. There was a death in her office. One of her senior executives, otherwise Michelle Page, would have been here to celebrate. But what was said to me as Minister by Mr. Federico Gonzalez and other officials? We have not seen a Minister of Tourism for 7 or 8 years from Antigua. You guys are not serious about the cruise ship industry. You are allowing St. John's to become a rundown, ramshackle, decrepit city in disrepair. He said to me, yet we see a Minister of Tourism of St. Kitts in our office nearly every 3 months by the name of Ricky Scarrett. What is Antigua doing about your facilities? You have the lowest spend. Antigua had the highest spend prior to 2004. What are you doing? The city is dirty. Shops have left the quay. Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all of these shops, they left Little Switzerland. What are you doing about entertainment? I said to Federico Gonzalez, Michelle Page and other senior executives, what is required for us to do? What do we need to do? We want to bring to our beautiful country those large ships like the Anthem of the Seas and the Oasis. He told me what was required. I didn't wait until I got back home. I picked up the phone and called my Prime Minister. My Prime Minister dispatched a letter within 1 hour of me sitting in that office in Miami. Federico could not believe that. Give our honorable Prime Minister a round of applause. But I am proud that Prime Minister Gaston Brown entrusted this task to me as Minister of Tourism. Excuse me. I'm humbled that today, sir, I have rewarded that trust in service to all the people of Antigua and Barbuda. Promise made, promise kept. Promise made, promise kept. And believe it, ain't no stopping us now. Let the dogs bark, this wagon is rolling. But let it be clear, let it be pellucidly clear. Yes, yes, as Minister of Tourism, policy oversight and implementation, Mr. Prime Minister, was my responsibility. However, my task was made easier by the unyielding support and commitment of Prime Minister Brown and my colleague cabinet ministers. To you, Mr. Prime Minister, I say thank you from my heart. To my cabinet colleagues, every single one of you, Sir Robin, Quay Benjamin, Honorable Melford Nicholas, Samantha Marshall, Arthur Nibbs, Eustace Tico Lake, all my comrades in arms, we built this together. Success is not mine alone. I share it with them. For we are all dedicated to a simple purpose, and that is the prosperity of this country and the upliftment of our people. There are others that I must mention today. They labored in the vineyard, and the fruits of their labor are what we savor today. For approximately 300 persons toiled night and day in 24-hour shifts over the past 6 months to ensure that this project was delivered on time and within budget. For their skills, their dedication, and their passion, they owed a mountain of gratitude no smaller than the size of this ship. On behalf of an appreciative nation, I give them, the workers today, our heartfelt thanks. And I invite you to join me in applauding all the workers that worked on this pier. Come on, let me hear it for them. Hip hip hip, hooray! Hip hip hip, hooray! Hip hip hip, hooray! God bless the workers that worked. And as Prime Minister said, this is just the beginning. Special thanks are also due to our local subcontractors, Mr. George Dexter Tavernier of Tavernier Construction Limited. Please give Dexter a round of applause. He tolerated me. He tolerated me day and night, barking and shouting, and he plowed on. And of course, Mr. Colin Harrigan of Harrigan Building Construction and their teams. They delivered the expansion of this Heritage Quay Pier on time, despite all the odds, enhancing the image of our country. They deserve a resounding round of applause as we say a big thank you. The commitment and the professionalism of BEA Architects and Meridian Construction were also critical to the delivery of a high-quality construction project. To the principals, Mr. Bruno Ramos, Mr. Percy Roden, Mr. Richard Starkey, and Mr. Adrian Price, we offer our profound gratitude for their hard work in delivering quality in a demanding timeline. Thank you, gentlemen. The board and management of St. John's Development Corporation, especially Chairman Ron Hector, the Antigua Port Authority, our Chairman Senator Mary Claire Hurst and Mr. Darwin Talamak, Antigua Pier Group, the Chairman Mr. Craig White, and the Executive Director Mr. Saeed Green, for without their support and the oversight which contributed significantly to our success today, to the Antigua and Barbuda Tourism Authority and Mr. Colin James, and to all the officials in the Ministry of Tourism, especially my Permanent Secretary, Ms. Paula Frederick Hunt, I say thank you. To John Bowles, our project manager, we say a heartfelt thank you. And he was ably assisted by Mr. Alden Crum, our local engineer, who also merits our sincere thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, the visit by the Anthem of the Seas is a real demonstration of the confidence that our key partners have placed in our commitment to work with them to grow the cruise ship industry for our mutual benefit. For Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines are to be commended for their years of unswerving support to our country. We deeply appreciate it. I'm delighted that two of Royal Caribbean's executives and very senior executives have joined us today. They are Mr. Greg Purdy, Senior Vice President of Port Marine Operations, and Mr. Federico Gonzalez Denton, Vice President of Government Relations for Latin America and the Caribbean. Please join me, ladies and gentlemen, in again warmly welcoming them and showing them our profound thanks. Let's hear it for them, Mr. Purdy and Federico. For we could not have picked a better partner than the Anthem of the Seas for the inaugural call of a Quantum-class vessel. Captain Ban and his crew steered this magnificent ship to a magnificent and awe-inspiring landing. And I want to pause here to thank profoundly our Chief Pilot, for without Chief Pilot Sam, this Anthem of Seas would not have been here today. Thank you, Captain Sam. Those of us who have shared the excitement and breathtaking sight of this ship at our shore have been given a rare treat that will long live in our memories. So thank you, Captain Ban, to you and to all your crew for yet another first in the successes of our nation. What now of the future? Ladies and gentlemen, the events we celebrate on this historic day are tangible proof that things have changed and are getting better in this country. I know that St. John's as our capital requires transformation. As Minister responsible for St. John's Development Corporation, the Prime Minister and his cabinet has mandated that we transform the landscape of our city, our beautiful capital, befitting a nation that aspires to be the economic powerhouse of the Caribbean. But ladies and gentlemen, the reality is nothing happens overnight. Rome was not built in a day. However, brick by brick, we are laying the foundations of improvement, enhancement, and upliftment. As Prime Minister Brown has pointed out, in 2 years, and despite the fact that we inherited a financial catastrophe, we have improved the economy, we have increased employment, We have managed to service the huge debt that we inherited from the UPP, and yet still invest in development projects for the good of our nation. For instance, to date, we have spent US $30 million on the upgrade of the port facilities. It is that spending that helps to make today's events possible for the benefit of all. Another United States $30 million has been raised already to further widen the turning basin and approach channel and to construct a brand new fifth berth. That berth will accommodate the Oasis-class ships, the largest cruise ships carrying over 6,000 passengers. So by 2019, it is estimated that the total number of cruise guest arrivals will exceed 1 million. That is now less than 3 years away. I told you earlier that on a conservative estimate, cruise ship passengers contribute US $60 million to our earnings next year. But in 2019, with 1 million cruise visitors, the estimated income will be United States 100 million. That is the goal to which we are striving in collaboration with our partners in the industry. For we are determined to return to our people full employment, to put money back in their pockets, to make our country a crime-free haven and an oasis of enjoyment in a troubled world. We have a vision of the St. John's Master Plan as the Caribbean's best example of a historic downtown location modernized for the 21st century. And this government is investing in improving the overall downtown environment for visitors and residents alike. And the plan is for 6 cruise piers, creating distinct town squares with nearly 59,000 square feet of amenities, including an art gallery, a straw market, waterfront themed bars and restaurants, a hotel, at least one, conference center, 2 marinas, multiple transportation hubs, and a state-of-the-art cruise terminal, which will allow us to take advantage of lucrative opportunities to become a home port for many cruise ships. The cruise passengers will enjoy a wonderful experience, and there will be much to be shared by many in Antigua and Barbuda. So every citizen willing to work in this country, every citizen prepared to invest and ready to seize the opportunities will benefit. In all, the Port of St. John's will not be left behind. The Prime Minister, as you heard, has already secured a loan facility of United States $87 million from the Republic of China to carry out a major upgrade of the port, positioning our country as a significant commercial hub in the Eastern Caribbean. Implementation of the St. John's Master Plan at a cost of $500 million EC will be the largest infrastructural development ever to take place in our country. It will be another step on our journey to transform our beloved country into an economic powerhouse in the region. In concluding, I want to read from our manifesto, the vision. And the vision of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party is to transform Antigua and Barbuda into a harmonious, prosperous, and modern nation, an economic powerhouse in the Caribbean, a country of equality of opportunity and justice irrespective of color, creed, or class. And our creed, the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, believes in the empowerment of our people. Let me hear you, colleagues. In the empowerment of our people, in the principles of good governance, the elimination of poverty, the provision of full employment, equitable distribution of wealth, and the equality of opportunity and justice. This is our social commitment and bond to the people of this country, and it is on this platform that we were elected to run this country, and that is why we put those incompetent UPP leaders out to pasture. In concluding, today's my day, Maurice. Prime Minister said so, behave yourself. Today, the government and Prime Minister Brown does not ask you to believe in the possible. Today, the government shows, this Gaston Brown government shows what is possible. Today, a quantum ship nestles in our tiny harbor, proving to the world that tasks always seem impossible until they are done. My fellow countrymen, let us build on what we have accomplished. Let us make our port the premier choice of the cruise ship industry and our country truly the economic powerhouse of the Caribbean. Let us continue to show that we can together make the impossible possible. I thank you.